everyone. The equation of an ellipse. Chapter 10, worksheet 3. This is Ms. Osier.
And Miss LaHart.
And here we go. Ooh,
I didn't sing it.
Oh, well, there.
Someone said, and I'm not going to name names, it was too sing-songy. All right, anyway, ellipses. What do we got?
That was a subtweet. Okay. So there's an ellipse. An ellipse is the set of all points in a plane, the sum of whose distances from two fixed points is a positive constant. Okay, an ellipse is an oval, people.
Yep.
Essentially. Okay. With an ellipse, you have a major axis, which is the longer of the two, and a minor axis, which is the shorter of the two. If the, we're going to keep going with all of this, but if the number underneath your x value is bigger, it means that you're going to have a major axis that's horizontal. If the number under the y is bigger, you're going to have a vertical major axis. Okay, so you're going to have a either a tall and skinny oval or a short and fat oval.
Oh, the short and fat, tall and skinny.
Yes, that's where we are. Okay, so we have parts of an ellipse. So our center's at HK. That's just like a center, a vertex, all those things. Okay, we still have our center here. A is the distance from the center to those two vertices. So from here to here, or from here to here. So for instance, if this distance was 5, A would be 5. And then A squared would be 25, etc. B is the difference. Basically, B is that distance from the minor axis. Okay, so here's your A, here's your B.
Yep.
C is the distance from the center to a focus.
Ooh.
Now, a focus is important because in an ellipse, the focus, it's a fun fact, the sum of the distances from any point on the ellipse to those two foci is equal to the length of the major axis.
Whoa.
So let's say this was 4 and this was 7. Well, 4 plus 7 is 11. That means the major axis would be 11.
Whoa.
Okay.
Fun fact, people.
Fun fact. Probably important at some point.
All right, so how are we going to do this? Well, easiest thing is first to identify center. Okay. Oh, we're noticing if it's short, fat, skinny.
Yep.
I realize that the bigger number is under the X, so I know that I'm going to have a short and fat.
Yep. So we're going left 5 and right 5 because, again, this is a squared, so 5 would be the square root of that. And then we're going up 2 and down 2 because square root of 4 is 2.
And you pull your point just like you did for parabolas. It's the opposite, so -2, +3.
Boom, boom.
And then just connect your dots in a nice little oval.
Pretty. Okay. If you wanted to get your C value to find your foci, which it says to do here. Okay. Remember, C squared is equal to B squared minus, or excuse me, A squared minus B squared. So it's like the opposite of Pythagorean theorem. You're going to get square root of 21, which is about 4.6. We approximate it so that we know about how many boxes to go. This is the value we want to see, as you can see here when I write those foci. But so that you can figure out where it is on the graph, you're going to approximate it.
Okay. All right. Oh, boy. Why this one doesn't look like the other.
My goodness. Well, we need it to look like the other. So
complete the square.
we're completing the square. We moved the 236 over because remember you need to get rid of the C value that you have. So anything other than the X's and Y's you move over. And as you can see, I have my X's together with a space, my Y's together with a space, and I move everything else over. I'm going to complete the square, but I can't yet because I have a leading coefficient of 16.
Got to take it out of there.
Boom. So I take the 16 out of these guys, I take the 20 out of these guys, and I still got plus blank plus blank.
All right. So then, remember, to complete the square, you're going to take half of the B term and square it. So half 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4, so that's why that 4 popped up. But instead of just adding a 4 to the other side, you have to remember that 16 times 4 is happening, which is 64. So that's why 64 popped over there. Half of -2 is -1. -1 squared is 1, so there goes 1. And then I'm going to add a 20 to the other side, because 20 times 1 is 20.
When you clean it up, the whole reason you did that completing the square was so that it would look like this. Because there's a plus here, we know it's an ellipse versus a hyperbola that you'll learn about in your next video. And we need the whole thing to equal 1.
Okay.
So now we're going to divide by 320. And when you do, you get 1/16, so that's going to be over 16. You get 1/20th, so this is going to be over 20.
Okay. So then, again, we notice that the bigger number is under the X, so we're going to have a short and fat ellipse. Our center would be -2, +1. The square root of 20 would be the distance.
Right. It's going to be in between 5 and 4, closer to 5.
Yep.
But you would approximate that value so you could figure out exactly where to put it on your graph.
Okay. So then the other one's nice because the square root of 16 is 4, so you go up 4, down 4. Connect your dots, and all this is asking you is to graph.
Right, you just had to sketch the graph. You didn't have to find the foci. But if you wanted to, of course we have them for you. 20 minus 16 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. So you would just go 2 from the center on the major axis for your foci.
There you go.
All right, now we're going to write the equation of the ellipse. Now, please realize we could give you all sorts of different information. You have to figure it out. You have to problem solve. So I am always going to sketch whatever they give me because it makes it a lot easier for me. So I have vertices at 10 and negative 10, and then I have co-vertices at 0, 9, and 0, negative 9. So I can see that because this distance is longer, I have a major axis that is horizontal. So I need to figure out my formula. So I have a center at the origin. I almost said at the vertex, sorry. I have a center at the origin, so 0 goes in there. And then this value is 10. This value is 9. Plug them in.
Square them.
Boom.
There you go.
So pretty. Okay.
Ooh, okay. Ooh. Oh, God. Foci. All right, we're going to sketch it because that's what we do. All right, so now we're going to go after, again, it looks like this center point is going to be 0, 0, which makes it nice. We know the distance would be 14 because they gave us the vertices. Now we have to go after that B value.
So we need to figure out where to go on our minor axis. Remember, c squared, this is a fact. You need to know this fact. Just like you learned Pythagorean theorem, this is a fact with ellipses.
Okay, so you plug in what you know. We know what the foci distance is because they've given us the foci. So we just square and solve for B. Get out the words. Oh, that's nice.
Boom.
Okay, so 5 under there would be 5 squared. 14 squared is 196. Boom, boom.
And you don't have to sketch it. Remember, we were just doing that original sketch to help us figure out what we needed to do. All right, now we have 2 foci, and it passes through the point negative 5, 6. Ooh. All right, so I'm going to sketch it. So I'm going to have my points at 0, 6, 0, negative 6, and this is the point negative 5, positive 6. Remember that fun fact we talked about? Well, it's coming up. I definitely know that my vertex is at 0, 0. That part I can figure out because that's, in between. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't always work out. I have no idea what my A or B are right now. But I do know that fun fact. The distance from a focus to one point plus the distance of the foci to the other point, or to the same point, so the distance from each foci to this, if you add them up, it equals the entire length of the major axis. So, well, that's an easy distance to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this distance, not so easy because it's a slanted distance. I have to perform the Pythagorean theorem or the distance formula, whichever makes more sense to you, to solve for that distance. So that would be 13. Again, we're just doing Pythagorean theorem over here. So we add them up. That's not 18. So then A would be 9. So that means the distance from the vertex to the center to a vertex is 9. So that gives me then my A value, so I can find my B value. Now that I have all of those, I don't even care that B is the square root of 45 because B squared is what goes into my formula. But now I have all of that. This one's probably the ugliest of all of them because you have to do your sum of the foci and it's just not a good time for anybody. I get that, but
it's doable.
It's doable. You just got to work through it. All right, we will see you in class where we will practice lots more. Have a wonderful day.